welcome to another episode of Preferred Walk-On, a PFF college football show. I'm your host, Max Chadwick, and on the show, we interview some of the biggest stars in the sport. Here's a pretty massive one. Penn State cornerback Kalen, who I think is a top 15 player overall in the country. I talked to him back in June. He's my number 2 corner in college football. He's actually the number 1 corner in the 2024 NFL draft, according to PFF's draft analyst, Connor Rogers. I love talking to Kalen. He's a big superstar on the field, and he is awesome on the mic as well. So I can't wait to show you guys this one. Check out the feature article, though, on Kalen and also Chop Robinson over at pff.com. The Robinson interview is already available if you want to watch or listen to it. And you can find this podcast anywhere you get your podcast, basically. And also search Preferred Walk-On on YouTube if you want to watch it as well. Major thank you to Dave Sofaro. Sets up every single one of these interviews. Plenty more coming, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. But without further ado, here he is, Penn State cornerback Kalen King. The first question I want to ask you, the first question I love asking every single player that I talk to is, there's a moment for me in my childhood where I was like, oh, you know what, maybe a college athletics career, professional athletics career is not possible for me. Was there a moment in your childhood, though, where you're like, wait a minute, I am different than every single guy in this field right now, and maybe a football career, not only in college, but the NFL is possible for me?
Yeah, I would say like I first realized that I could be good when I was like 9 or like 8 or 9, because I remember we used to wake up every day like 6, 7 in the morning with my dad and me and my brother Kobe. We used to wake up every morning and just like run miles and go to the field. And my dad used to throw like the football super high in the air when we 6 years old. My dad trying to throw the ball super high in the air, and whoever catch it first, like it used to get competitive like real early. So I'd say when I was about 10 years old, that's when I realized I can be good, because me and my brother played for this team called the Michigan Bulldogs. It's a team in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And we was like the best 2 players on the team, like no question. And so that's when I really knew like I could really be good. And then since then, I just trusted my dad, and we've been working ever since.
Dude, you just said you've been running miles since you were like 6 years old. I can't even run a mile now, dude. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I love it, man. So I was going to ask you about your twin brother, Kobe, who's a linebacker for Penn State right now. What was it like growing up with him? And like you just mentioned before, I mean, you guys were both superstar football players coming out of Michigan.
Oh man, it feels good, because like we didn't grew up our whole life with each other. We didn't been through everything with each other. So now that we're in college playing football on Division I level on the same team, man, it's just like surreal almost. Because like we put the work in so much throughout our whole life. Now it's like it's coming to light.
I love that, man. So what made you decide on Penn State when you're coming out of high school?
So I feel like Penn State just they drug me in with their coaches, man. Like every coach here throughout the recruiting process, like Penn State's coaches were like just the most genuine, the most like the easiest to talk to, like, and just things of that nature. Like the relationship I had with Coach Terry Smith and James Franklin was just like one of the best. So I just trusted those guys, and I'm glad I made that decision.
Yeah, I bet a lot of Penn State fans are happy that you made a decision too, man. But did you always know that you and Kobe wanted to play together in college when you guys were going through the recruiting process together?
Yeah, so this is a crazy story right here. So I would say after my sophomore year, Kobe was going to go to Wisconsin. No, but not a lot of people know that. So Kobe was initially like leaning towards Wisconsin and what they had going on over there. But me, I never really liked Wisconsin, just because like the area, and really like it's not really, it doesn't really sound like it's much to do down there. So I was never interested, but Kobe liked them a lot. So at one point we was thinking about like splitting up.
Wow. So then you decided, did you convince him like, hey man, come with me to Penn State?
As time went on, like we just started to take all our visits, and just we talked about it with our family, and then we came up with the best idea for both of us.
I love it, man. I bet your parents really appreciate that too, that they don't have to travel to 2 different areas to go to your games. I bet they really appreciate that. But listen, man, this past season, you broke out and was one of the best corners in college football. What do you think clicked for you as a sophomore?
I mean, I feel like it was just like confidence really, because as a freshman, I got a lot of playing time, but I wasn't really in the mix as much as I wanted to be. And I feel like that off season after my freshman year leading to my sophomore year, that's when I really I locked in, man. I just went full head first, and I went the grind with on field, off the field, school, just things of that nature. I knew if I wanted to have the year I wanted to, then I had to devote everything in my time to sports and football. So that's what I did. I put all the work in, and I had a great season. Now I'm looking to do the same thing again.
Hell yeah, man. But what do you think separates you from other corners around college football?
Really, just my tenacity, my toughness, my ball skills. I feel like, man, every time I'm out there, I just feel like if a ball is thrown at me, then he's throwing it at me. Not really the receiver I'm guarding, but me, because I feel like if a quarterback throws the ball in my direction, he's really trying to pick on me more than he's trying to pass it to his teammate. That's the way I think. It might sound a little crazy, but that's just my logic.
That's the mindset. I think that's perfect, man. I was literally one of the questions I was going to ask you. Do you get offended when a quarterback throws it your way?
Yes. Every time, every single time a quarterback throws my way, I get offended every time.
I love that, man. So a lot of corners have the mindset of, hey, I'm the best on the field right now whenever I go out there. Do you have that mindset of, hey, I'm the best corner in college football?
Yes, definitely, because I know all the work that I put in, and I've been talking to myself for the past and when I say talking to myself, I mean just affirmations, writing things down. If I'm in the game or if I'm in practice, I'll say little phrases to myself. Mm-hmm. Nobody know I'm saying it, but I say little phrases to myself I'm the best in the country. I just keep saying it and keep manifesting it, and everything I've been saying lately has been coming true. So yeah.
Hell yeah, man. That's fucking awesome. But another question I love asking every player I talk to is say I'm asking right now, if you had to describe yourself in one play, what would it be? The play that I go back to for you and my favorite play you've made so far is that Utah pick in the Rose Bowl, man. That was freaking absurd how you made that interception. But what is your favorite play of your career so far?
I would say my favorite play of my career will have to be Central Michigan game. It was I forced a fumble, so I'm lined up at corner, and my receiver ran a slant route, but he caught it at first. So when he caught it, I'm because I tried to punch at it, and when I punched at it, he still had control. So I was kind of mad. So we kept fighting through the ground, fighting all the way to the whistle, and then I ended up pulling it out at the last minute. And I scooped it up, and that was my first I had a forced fumble my freshman year, but it wasn't like that one. That was the first one where I actually jarred the ball loose. So that was a really good feeling for me. I'd say that would have to be one of my favorite plays for sure.
Dude, I love how you said it. You got mad at him for not fumbling the ball.
Yeah.
I love that, dude. That mentality, man, is awesome. I love that so much. But a guy I interviewed a couple of weeks ago, a guy who I know you're very close to, is Chop Robinson, who we consider to be, a potential first-round pick in next year's draft, as well as yourself. I asked Chop about you, and he said that you guys have a special handshake you guys got cooking up this year. Can you tell me what that handshake is?
I mean, I can't tell you what it is, but you just gotta wait and see. But we definitely got something cooking up.
Damn, man, I was gonna try and trick you too, because I asked him for it too. He goes, "No, man, I'm not telling you."
Yeah, I can't show you right now. I can't.
All right, I was gonna try to get it out of you, but I love that both of you are keeping it a secret right now.
Yeah.
But listen, man, what makes Chop so special?
Man, Chop is he's just a force, man. When he's out there, he plays with ultimate tenacity, ultimate toughness. He's an ultimate competitor. If you don't know Chop, some games he doesn't even wear gloves. That's when I knew he was crazy a little bit, because he don't wear gloves, arm sleeves, nothing. He'll just put the shoulder pads on and the pants and just walk out there with no accessories, no nothing. So that's when I knew Chop was serious, because he's dangerous, man. He's explosive, he's fast, he's aggressive. He just gets to the quarterback, and he makes my life easier. So, man, I love Chop, man. So yeah.
I love that, man. I also love how, the two stars of Penn State defense, one of them is 44, the other one is number 4 too, which I think is super cool. What does that number 4 mean to you, though?
I mean, so initially My favorite number to wear was 2 because growing up I used to watch a lot of like Charles Woodson.
Hmm.
My dad used to have me watch a lot of his videos, so that was like that's like one of my favorite players growing up, and ultimately the reason why I wore number 2 in high school and little league and stuff like that. But when I got here, man, I wasn't expecting like any like specific number, but when I seen number 4, I was happy, I was excited. But now that like I'm here for 2 years and I didn't put like the experience behind it, and like I got filmed with number 4 and all that, everybody know me as number 4. I'm starting to like it's starting to grow on me now. Like I'm starting to like number 4 better.
I love that, man. So another guy I wanted to ask you about is your defensive coordinator, Manny Diaz, who we think is one of the best in college football. How much fun do you have playing in his defense?
Man, a lot. Manny Diaz is like one of those coaches who's like he makes you like want to play for him. Like he motivates you, and he just the way he talks to the defense is like he doesn't really. It's not like it's to a point where like he's not a coach sometimes. Like we look at him as like our leader, like someone we can just go to at all times, and we know if he ready, then we ready. Because in practice, man, he be pushing us to the limits, man. He try to make us like break milestones that he know we can get, and we end up doing it. So like I feel like Manny, man, he's a very like big contributor to the way our team is ran, and like I'm glad we got him as a coordinator.
I love that, man. I want to ask you about your head coach too, James Franklin, who we think is again one of the best coaches in college football. He seems to be like an awesome guy to just be around in the
Yeah.
facility every day. What is it like playing for James Franklin?
Franklin is definitely an awesome guy, man. Like he's very down to earth. He's open to conversations with anyone, and like I know you know exactly what you're getting with Coach Franklin. Like he's never going to come in drowsy, or he's never going to come in. You're never going to tell that something is wrong with him. Like he's ready. So like I never seen him look tired. For my whole 2 years being here, I never even seen him look tired. That's a little crazy, but I feel like, man, Coach Franklin is one of the coolest coaches I ever met in my life, man. He's so like down to earth. He's easy to talk to, and he's just like he's a great coach.
Last guy I wanted to ask you about too was Joey Porter Jr., who now, of course, is with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You guys, I mean, that duo you had last year was scary for opposing quarterbacks to throw out, man. What do you think Joey Porter Jr. is going to bring to the Pittsburgh Steelers next year?
Man, I feel like Joey's going to bring a shutdown factor to Pittsburgh. I know they got a lot of good corners over there with Patrick Peterson being there now, but I feel like Joey's going to learn a lot from Patrick Peterson, and it's just going to apply to his game because, like, man, Joey, we used to be in practice, and I used to just look at Joey like, man, how is he a corner? Because he's so, like, massive. Like, he's bigger than everybody on the team. Like, he's head-to-head looking at linemen. So I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. But, man, I enjoy my time with Joey, man. That's my guy right there. So, man, I can't wait to see what he's going to do in the league.
Man, as a Steelers fan, I would love it a lot if they drafted you too, man. We have the
That would be
I'm a huge Penn State fan too, man. So yeah, watching you two last year was phenomenal. But I think the matchup that if you ask any college football fan right now, like the player on player matchup they're most excited to see, the one I'm most excited to see is you against Marvin Harrison Jr. You know, you did it a little bit last year. You're one of the best corners in the country. He's one of the best receivers in the country. Are you kind of excited to go against him yet again this upcoming season?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited to go against him because, like, I know Marvin Harrison's a very good player, man. He's a very good receiver. He's got all the intangibles from size to speed to catch radius to run after catch to all that. So, man, I feel like that's the perfect challenge for me, and that's the challenge that I need to put myself up against if I want to be the top in the country. So I know that, that matchup is that's very important, and I can't wait for that moment.
Are you gonna try to tell Coach Diaz like, "Hey, man, let me just go on an island with him all game"?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to work something out because I don't know. But my guy Johnny Dixon, I know my guy Johnny Dixon gonna be ready too. So I know he gonna want some of that work too. So yeah.
Well, they got a Mekhi Buka there too, man. So there's plenty to go around in that Ohio State receiver room. But I'm excited for that matchup for sure. But you just mentioned it, man. Like Marvin's going to be a top prospect. You're going to be a top prospect next year. You're being mocked in like the top 10 to 15 players in the next year's draft. What does that kind of hype mean to you for next year's draft?
I mean, it's good, but it's like I'm not really paying that much attention to it because, like, at the end of the day, I know it's a mock draft, and I ain't seen countless amount of like Division I athletes start out being mocked very high and then end up dropping. So I'm just trying to make sure that doesn't happen with me, and I'm continuing to put the work in every day, even though I'm seeing the mock drafts and I'm seeing all the preseason accolades. I have to like now it's time to go actually do it, like because I still got a whole season ahead of me. So yeah.
I love that, man. So you mentioned before how Charles Woodson is like one of your childhood heroes. What made Woodson one of the guys that you looked up to as a kid?
Just the way like he plays, man. Like I feel like we got the same mindset because like the way he attacks the ball, the way he just he views his opponents, the way he just carries himself on the field is just like top notch, just like nothing I ever seen before. So when I first seen it, I was like, yeah, this is how I want to be. Like he won the Heisman as a corner. That's crazy. I never like nobody ever did that. So just seeing that, like it's just something that I feel like I can see myself doing. And like Charles Woodson was somebody who really like strove me to like be great, really, and my dad as well.
I love that, man. Are you gonna try to go for that Heisman Trophy like he did?
Yeah, I'm trying to go for something, man. So I'm
At
going
least
for
a Thorpe Award. At least a
yeah,
Thorpe Award. Get that, man,
yeah.
for sure. But yeah, so now of course Woodson's retired now. So is there any NFL corner, maybe besides Joey Porter Jr., but a guy that you love watching in the NFL and try to model your game after?
Yeah, definitely. One guy who I really love his game, man, but he's been hurt he been hurt recently is Marshawn Lattimore. Like
Mm-hmm.
the way he plays on the field, like his energy, his effort, like his swagger, it's like all like I try to like model my game after players like that, like with big swagger, supreme confidence, and people of that nature, like Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander, like guys who
Mm-hmm.
just they bring their own energy. Like they don't need nobody to turn them up or get them hyped. They always they always ready. So that's why I try to model my game after people like that.
I love that, man. So another guy who's going to be a top prospect next year on your team. I know you don't go against him much in practice, but Olu Falemi, who I was able to talk to too. What do you think makes him such a special, not only player but person too?
Man, Olu is like the ultimate like well-rounded person from like on the field to off the field. He's very smart. He's easy to talk to, man. But in practice, man, he's like a machine, man. Like me, like honestly, my whole time being here, I think I seen Olu lose like 2 one-on-one reps. And we do one-on-ones every day, like almost every day. So that just puts into perspective like how good he is. He's automatic. Like anytime he steps up, I know like yeah, it's a win for Olu because like he's strong, he got long arms, his punch is crazy, and his balance, his foot quickness, it's all there. So man, I'm glad he came back. So
Yeah, I'm sure a
yeah.
lot of people are glad he came back too, man. But you mentioned him not losing many one-on-one reps. You didn't lose that many one-on reps either. You had the best coverage grade and lowest passer rating allowed in single coverage. Do you really enjoy being left out on an island like that?
Yeah, definitely. Because like I feel like when I'm like out on the island, it's more like I zone out almost. Cause like it's almost like a game within a game when you're like out there on an island with like a certain matchup or something like that. It's just like a game within a game, really. Like, yeah.
I love that, man. So I was going to ask you about the secondary you guys got too, because you lose Joey Porter Jr., but Johnny Dixon, Daquan Hardy were really high on too. Do you think Penn State is the best secondary in college football?
Yes. And I think a lot of people don't give us the credit that we deserve. Like, but I feel like Penn State definitely has the best room in college football because we got a lot of returning key players. We got a lot of players who have experience. We got a lot of people who made plays for us. So man, from corner to safety, I feel like yeah, we're the most well-rounded in the country.
And dude, that secondary should be special. You got Abdul Carter returning and your twin brother Kobe returning, that linebacking core, chop on the D line. How special can this defense be next year, man?
Man, I feel like we can be real special. We can do some big things. And right now we're taking that, we're having that same mindset and we just applying it every day and we trying to become better, a little bit better than we were yesterday, every day, going forward from workouts to conditioning to schooling to tutors to study hard, just things of that nature. Like I feel like everybody is focused on one goal and that's gonna achieve to the greater for us. So yeah.
I love that, man. What should we expect from Kalen King and Penn State next year?
Man, you should expect a lot, a lot of interceptions, a lot of PBUs, and a lot of celebrations.
A lot of handshakes between Chop Robinson too.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sure too, man. But what's your why, dude? What makes you get out of bed every morning?
Man, my family, because like really growing up in Detroit, man, with I grew up in a four-family household with my brother, my mom, and dad. So it was really just us all our life. And growing up in Detroit, like, I didn't see a lot of things. I didn't been through a lot of things. I didn't met a lot of people and made a lot of connections. So just to help my family out, man, they the reason I get up every day, because they paid their dues to me their whole life with putting me in the best position they could to make sure I was successful. And now I have the opportunity that not a lot of people in this world get. So I'm gonna make sure that I take advantage of that and take care of my family. So yeah.
Hell yeah, man. A couple more questions if you don't mind. But I love hearing from players too. Like when your Hall of Fame career is finished, when you put on the gold jacket after that, what do you want to do with your life after football?
Okay, so I tell a lot of people what I want to do after football. So after football, I want to be like, you know how Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless are, like how they have their little undisputed channel and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. I want to be like someone like that, because like I just want to still be around sports even when I'm done, still be involved around it, talk about it, be like on TV talking about it and things of that nature. Because I feel like, I'm a good talker. I feel like I can talk about those type of things. So yeah, and I watch a lot of Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless
Mm-hmm.
and
Dude,
Shannon Sharp. So yeah,
Dude, just going off this interview, you have a great chance of making that career happen, man. This
yeah,
is a phenomenal interview. But last question I want to ask you is, there are a lot of kids right now that look at you and say that Kalen King, you know how Charles Woodson was your hero? Kalen
yeah.
King is my hero, and they want to be just like you. What advice would you give those kids that look up to you?
Man, I would just say whatever you have in mind, whatever goal you set to achieve for yourself, make sure you're doing everything in your power that you can to achieve it. Like don't let anybody steer you from your path or steer you from where you think you should go, because only you know what you really can do. So that's it.
That's phenomenal, man. Well, listen, I can't wait to watch you both in the NFL and then on FS1 on those kind of shows afterwards. But Kalen, is a phenomenal interview, dude. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.